Welcome to the 15 Minutes with a Farmer podcast from Successful Farming, where quick conversations reveal big truths about agriculture and life. I'm your host, Lisa Faust-Prater. My guest today is Isabell Olsasky, an Iowa State University agronomy student whose FFA journey and global ag experiences are shaping her into a future leader in agriculture. Isabell, thank you so much for joining me on 15 Minutes with a Farmer.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
Well, full disclosure, I've known Isabell for a very long time. You went to school with my three sons, and so it's been really fun watching you over the years just excel in everything. And especially, FFA has been so important to you, and you've been such a big part of the program at Southeast Warren. And by the way, what a program at Southeast Warren. I've had Alex Rogers, the leader of that program, on the podcast, and he's fantastic. So let's start. If you could just tell us a little bit about, kind of your family's background in agriculture, and then we'll get into the FFA talk.
Yes, absolutely. My first 6 years of life, I lived in Indianola, but eventually my family moved out to our farm, where we have lived now for the past 12 years. And on that farm, we have pigs. We have a show pig operation called Buck Creek Show Pigs. That's run by my dad and Jody Bell. And then my siblings and I have chickens. We have laying hens. And then typically for the fair, we'll do meat birds in the summer. And then my siblings and I just started raising sheep. So that's been a new adventure for us, and it's been super fun. And then, of course, we have your dogs, your barn cats, and then we have cattle. And that is the big part of my dad and grandpa's combined farming operation. And then they also have a diversified crop operation. And when I say diversified, I mean we do corn and soybeans, but we also do some small cereal grains like some wheat, some barley, and then our forages, because we do hay for our cattle.
So we talked a little bit about FFA, but tell me about your experience in the program there at Southeast Warren and just kind of what that meant for you and what you got out of that.
I joined FFA in 7th grade, and I fell in love with it. I became a part of the Agricultural Literacy Committee, which is what goes and does the little kid ag day visits. So we pick a topic. A good example right now for it being fall, we might talk about pumpkins, and we'll bring like a craft, an activity, and like a learning down to a younger grade, say first or second graders. We do the activity with them, talk about agriculture, just try to get them engaged in ag and FFA. And then my 8th and 9th grade year, I became a co-chair of those committees. And that was really a big impact for me because I was able to attend McNay Ag Day, which is really lucky because that's not something we normally get to attend. And it was really cool to get to see these people working in agriculture, but not necessarily working on a farm. Because I was starting to think, like, what do I want to do when I'm older? And where does that look like for me? Because when I was younger, I wanted to be a vet. And then I realized I don't have the stomach for that. And so I wanted to be a part of ag because it's been such a big part of my life. But I didn't really see many other options outside of maybe being a vet or farming. So it was really cool to get to see those people. So my 9th grade year, I tried out to be on our officer team. As most freshmen, I didn't make it on, but I got to chair a new committee called the Career Success Committee. So my 10th grade year, I became our chapter's treasurer, which was super fun. I love numbers. Math is kind of one of my good things I'm good at. And it was really cool to get to be like such a big part of like that team and getting to see how our chapter worked. I loved it so much. In fact, I tried out to be a South Central District FFA officer. And this is actually probably where my FFA career has shaped me the most because I tried my 10th and 11th grade year and I didn't make it on both times. But I'm a big person that learning from failure is really important. So my first year, I was kind of disappointed, but I lost to an 11th grader, which makes total sense. And then my 11th grade year, it just wasn't in the cards for me. But I was able to use my experience from the year before to help a lot of other kids going through similar emotions that I was feeling and help them get past that to really just put their best foot forward. So my 11th senior year, I was our chapter secretary, which is one of my favorite things I've done. I love taking notes. I'm a highly organized person. And so it was really cool. And we got to work through a lot of unique challenges that year with our chapter because we had finally gotten like our animal learning center into place. And so we are looking like what can we do to improve, and we were trying to figure out how to restructure our committees so that we could do more with our community and help kids engage in ag. Besides my leadership stuff, I've done creed speaking, experience the action, ag CSI, public speaking, and ag issues. And then I've been a soil judger basically all of my time throughout high school, which is what led me to make the decision of where I'm going to college. I'm at Iowa State right now, and I'm a major in agronomy, so plant science, soil science, and I really love it. But for me in like my FFA journey, I'm going to try for state office this upcoming year, and we'll see how that goes. I think it will be a really good opportunity, even if I don't get on, just to like network and meet a lot of really cool people. So I'm super excited for that.
That's amazing. Well, you've done such a great job for the program at Southeast Warren, and you know, I love what you said about learning from failure, and those kinds of experiences can be hard. So it's great that you were able to kind of help other kids through that too. And so tell us a little bit about what your plans are as far as like your studies. And you're an agronomy major, but are you looking at a specific, field of focus?
Yes. So actually in our agronomy major, as you get older, you look into what you want to be your focus area. So if you're interested in soils, you'll take more soil science classes. If you're looking more into like doing application of like anhydrous, you take classes for that. Or if you're interested in seed science or genetics, you kind of focus in, but more with an agronomy aspect. I think that's what's really great about a major in agronomy is that you can learn so many different things. That's why I picked it, because I couldn't choose, oh, do I want to do more plant science? Do I want to do more soil science? And so it's been a really great so far to get to like have such a diverse like experience of classes. Like I'm in a crop science class, but I'm also in like a class where we literally go out to the fields. Like this last week we were in sorghum fields and we were collecting data. But for me, I also would like to get a minor either in environmental science or global work resources. I've worked a lot with the World Food Prize, and it's really influenced my view of agriculture and what that looks like around the world. So global resources would be really interesting. Currently, I'm working in the McDaniel Soil Lab with postdoc students, master's students, and a couple undergraduates, and I get to work with them to help them on their projects. So after I get my bachelor's, I would like to go straight to getting my master's. And then eventually I would like to get my PhD, but that'll be much further down the road, kind of probably as I'm working.
Yeah. Oh gosh, that's such a great plan. And you mentioned the World Food Prize, and I want to talk about that for a minute. So this year you were one of 16 people out of thousands of applicants selected for the World Food Prize Foundation's Borlaug Ruan internship. So that is basically, exceptional high school students from all over the world work with scientists on global food security issues. And so you spent your summer in Mexico working
Yes.
with the International Maize and Wheat Improvement Center, which is called CMIT for the Spanish acronym, in Mexico. So tell us about your summer in Mexico.
Yes, so my 11th grade year, my lovely ag advisor, Mr. Alex Rogers, sent me an opportunity for $1,000 scholarship to Iowa State University in the College of Ag and Life Sciences. And all you had to do was write a paper. And then after you wrote that paper, you went up to Iowa State University for one day and you participated in like a little round table where you kind of presented your paper to like an expert in the area. So my expert when I went, she was a soil scientist at the USDA and then a member of the World Food Prize Organization. I wrote my paper about sustainable agriculture in Vietnam. You're supposed to pick a country that you're not familiar with at all. I talked about how they could use their environment to their advantage, like taking advantage of those natural biological processes in agriculture to help strengthen their agriculture, their economy. And I got selected to go to the Global Youth Institute. So that is where they take kids from around all of the youth institutes. So I was able to go there and present my paper, and I was actually one of their Global Challenge Award recipients. So I placed fifth out of the 300, 400 plus kids there, and it was a super impactful experience. I got to listen to the president of Tanzania talk about agriculture in her country and what that looked like, and it was super cool. And while I was there, they talked about the BR, the Borlaug Rouen International Internship. So I applied, I went through an interview process, and I got selected to be one of the 2025 cohort. So I left for Mexico, and I was down there for 2 months. I researched transdisciplinarity in agricultural research for development, and it was a case study of the CIMMIT Hub model. So it basically provides support for local farmers by helping address like local issues, and they created very diverse stakeholder networks. So that might include their co-ops, farmer organizations, seed suppliers, the farmers themselves, like all of these people to work together to help address the local challenges in agriculture in that area. And the hubs help facilitate that and then provide that support. And they do research platforms and work with farmers to conduct different research in that area. My favorite thing probably is I got to work in post-harvest, which isn't something I feel like we talk about as much in Iowa because a lot of people still do sustenance farming further down south. So they're just making enough food to feed their families. It was such a life-changing experience, not in terms of just the research and getting to see like the agriculture, but like traveling with friends to different places and really just seeing how, yes, our lives may be different or we feel so far away, but we're really just all just people in the same place. We're trying to survive. We're trying to live our lives. And it was just so impactful.
Oh, that is so incredible. What an amazing experience for you. So tell us what your sort of daily life looked like in Mexico.
Day to day looked really different for me because my mentor's whole idea was to get me experience in all the different areas of this program and see how transdisciplinary really supports agricultural research and why it's needed to make sure that agricultural research is scalable. So my first couple of weeks, I was actually in the field with the field workers digging holes. You would lay on your stomach, shoulder deep into a hole, and you were digging a hole into the side of the hole for a nitrogen leaching experiment because they had like a little piece of PVC that had to go on the side. And that was really hard work. As people that want to be involved in agricultural research, we can't just say, do this. It's so easy because it's not. The farmers put in a lot of work and they face challenges that we might not even consider when conducting research. And so it's important to understand what the field workers are doing, what the farmers are doing before you start to go in there and be like, change this, do this. After that, I worked in like the maize quality labs. I got to make tortillas one day at work. That was super fun. They're testing how different maize impacts the color, smell, and stuff of a tortilla because that's a really important part of like their diet. I worked in the geographic information systems team, so they make maps of areas that and classify them. Oh, they might have this type of soil or they're more likely to face drought. I worked with our communications team and got to write a couple articles about getting kids involved in agriculture. And then I also got to work with Jessie, which is Gender Equity and Youth Inclusion Program. They are doing a lot of really important work in terms of like looking at what it's like for women in agriculture. I got to work in the post-harvest department. So collecting insects. I helped do moisture levels for different studies of how to store maize. I got to gain so many different perspectives, and I'm a big perspectives person, so I really enjoyed it.
That is amazing. How do you feel like that experience in Mexico has maybe affected either what you want to do or just kind of your approach to studying agronomy?
I think the really big thing is just being aware. When we're talking about research, a lot of them are just like, why don't people just do it? And I think having that perspective of understanding that it's not easy is really important and has been really impactful. I think we often forget that people experience different challenges and everybody's life looks different. And I think it's important to understand that people come from different walks of life and that agriculture looks different around the world.
So what advice would you give to other, students who might be curious about agriculture, sort of beyond their own backyards or their home farms?
Two major things. The first one is that ag has a place for everybody. Agriculture is a part of everyone's life in some way, shape, or form. So that means you can also be a part of agriculture. You can be like an agronomist. You can be a farmer. Like there's like ag communications majors. If you like talking to people, if you like social media, you can advocate for agriculture through that. Like, there's so many different pathways, and I cannot stress that enough. And then my second advice would be to like just go for it. Don't be afraid to fail, which I know sounds super easy to say, but even though it hurts at the time, as long as you take your failures with stride and try to see the growth that can happen from it, you will live such a happier life. You just have to do it and say, yeah, I might not get this, but I can learn this from it.
That's such a great perspective. Personally, like, I'm so proud of you, and it's been so fun to just watch your journey. So congratulations on all this fantastic success that you've had, and enjoy your time at Iowa State.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening. Open the latest issue of Successful Farming, visit us online at agriculture.com, and subscribe to 15 Minutes with a Farmer so you never miss a chance to connect with the people who feed, clothe, and fuel the world. Until next time, stay rooted, stay resilient, and support your local farmer.